Hey, what's up, everybody? True Boxing here. Thank you for coming back to get hit with the truth. So today we're going to do the recap from the DAZN card that took place Saturday. Jesus, drawing a blank now. May 1st from the United Kingdom. It was headlined by the Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora showdown, heavyweight showdown. But we're going to talk about the undercard first. Katie Taylor retained her title in the women's the women's title fight co-feature. But talk about the three fights that I previewed. The first, Chris Eubank against Marcus Morrison. Morrison, he came in and did the best he could, but Chris Eubank just too talented, too good. Busted him up, outworked him for 10 rounds, 10-round decision win, as he gets back to, shakes off that rust from what was nearly a year-and-a-half layoff, and now he's back in the mix. He says he's coming after everybody. It looks like he's still fighting at middleweight because he's calling out all the names at middleweight right now. So see what happens with that. Hopefully he can get a big swing and turn around and get back in the ring soon. So congrats to him on getting back to his winning ways. Also that day we saw Dimitry Beval, the undefeated WBA super champion at light heavyweight, my number one light heavyweight in the world. He took on little known fighter from the UK, Craig Richards. And, it was pretty much business as usual for Beval. He just too good, too slick. Boxing ability and his combination punching is just on point, and he's one of those fighters that whenever Craig Richards would land a decent shot, he would just come back and land something crisp and hard, and it's almost like he got pissed off because he got hit. And I like Beval. He got motivated. Again, kind of a lack of power at 175. I mean, some of these guys can't take punches. And he was shaking off over a year and a half. I think it was a 19-month layoff he was shaking off. So kind of, to me, it makes sense, that he took some, that it took a while for him to, that he didn't go after Craig Richards to try for the knockout. I mean, Beval's just not that type of fighter, but it was a clean, one-sided decision win. He retained his title without question and without trouble, and now he can focus on something bigger later in the year, which we know the rumor was a showdown with undefeated Gilberto Ramirez, the former super middleweight champion. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully that comes to fruition later in the year, but a nice win for Beval as he holds on to his world title. And then finally, the main event, the huge heavyweight battle between Joseph Parker and Derek Chisora. It ended up being a pretty good fight. Parker just used his combination punching and his feet to fight from angles and to hit, and kind of get out of harm's way. But he did take some shots, especially early on. He suffered a knockdown early. As actually the first 10 seconds, it was a punch to the back of the head, sent him down. He got up, though, and boxed well. And I thought he won a clean decision. I didn't think the fight was as close as the judges scored it. They scored it a split decision for Parker in a good fight, but I thought it was more like a comfortable 7-5, 8-4 type fight. From what I saw, Parker was outworking Chisora, but Chisora, don't get me wrong, landed some big shots that probably swung the judges in his favor a little more, because he was landing thudding shots that, but they were also thudding because they were kind of looping shots, and he did do some good body work, but Joseph Parker just has a good chin, and he kept boxing, and he kept outworking Chisora. It was a good fight, but Chisora just could not seem to break the seal. I think he thought he was gonna hurt Parker badly at some point, and Parker just kept boxing. I thought Parker was gonna wear Chisora down and finish him or put him down, because Chisora seemed to be breathing hard. I mean, shit, especially the whole second half of the fight, but he seemed to be breathing hard after a couple rounds, and he just was in good shape, and he kept fighting, he kept going, and man, I mean, impressive performance for a guy like Chisora, who I am now going to put in the top 10, you know.
Straight to stay on California 152 East.
You know, he fought Alexander Usyk in his last fight and fought hard. Didn't get blown out in that fight. You know, he fought really hard. He was beating Dillian White, who's back in the top 5. Back in, what, the end of, was it 2019?
Straight to stay on
and got caught cold in the
East.
11th round. You know, I mean, Chisora is a gamer. He's a fighter. This guy is not afraid to fight anybody. And, you know, I called him a gatekeeper, but I think he's a little bit better than that. I do. I think he is a good, solid heavyweight. And stylistically, his, you know, against some of the top 10, his style does mesh pretty well. And he can make problems for pretty much anybody. So Chisora showed a lot of heart, fought hard. I mean, if he were to retire, I'd be surprised because I think he feels he probably has more work to do. But I wouldn't be surprised, and he can hold his head up high fighting 3 of the top 10 heavyweights in the world right now and fighting them hard. You know, he fought hard against Tyson Fury the 2 times he fought him. So, you know, this guy he's a good, solid heavyweight. But he came up short, and Joseph Parker continues to show why he is a legitimate and a tough top 10 fighter. I mean, you cannot write this guy off. He is very, very good, and he showed it again in this fight. So, good performance. Can't wait to see both these guys back in the ring. Parker, maybe he's lined up for a showdown with for the WBO title next. We'll see when we discuss his what's next. And we'll go from there. But good, solid card right here. It was on DAZN on May 1st. Really enjoyed it. And go back and check it out. All right, guys. True Boxing. You've been here with the truth.